Hi Virgo, welcome to your mid-February 2019 tarot and astrology reading. Welcome back to my channel if you're a regular here, and if you're new, welcome. Please subscribe to the channel for monthly and mid-monthly horoscopes, taroscopes, and whatever else is going on in the skies really. So, Virgo, this is going to be a very interesting month for you astrologically. The last 2 weeks of February may feel a little bit intense, so it's worthwhile being prepared for this, okay? So starting on the 13th of February, Mars is going to be conjunct Uranus. Now, this is going to be in the sign of Aries, which for you is the 8th house. So it's not a time around the 12th, 13th of February to be taking a lot of risks in your personal life, because you may be shocking and surprising people just by saying what comes out of your mouth. The 8th house is all about secrecy, but this is more of an eruption. So secrets may come out, but most likely from you. Your inner truth, your inner feelings. You may say things that you can't take back, so be mindful of this. Do find other ways to channel these feelings, meditation, exercise. You might be quite regretful if you go headfirst into a sexual encounter, for example. Or recklessly spend money on something you usually wouldn't, because the 8th house can rule money. Particularly if it's other people's money, do be very careful about what you're doing with it if you're in charge of it. Now, people may not be sure entirely where they stand with you. Under this transit, you may throw caution to the wind and say something quite extreme. So just be mindful of that. The 15th is a lot easier, but I'll get to that in a second. The energy shifts then, okay? So this is just really a 2-day thing, but it's quite intense. It's not going to happen for another 80 years in this place, so don't worry about that. Now, Valentine's Day, there is a T-square, including Neptune and the Moon, Neptune being in your partnership sector. The moon being in your 10th house. So, with that in mind, you might not know how you feel, you might not know where you stand with others, particularly in romance, but also in career. You might not know where you're really, feeling appreciated. You might not think you're feeling appreciated when you actually might be, or you might start to realize you're not being appreciated as you should. Again, this can be work or this can be romance. Again, a good tip would be to lie low until these energies have passed, because, sometimes, particularly as Mercury is going to go retrograde next month in your partnership sector, you will get a chance to revisit things, but there are some things that you cannot possibly take back once they are. So just be mindful of that. It doesn't mean you're going to do it. You're a lot more of a careful sign than most, but it's just to be aware, because this energy is very intense on everybody, not just you. It's just where it sits for you. Tempers may flare, and when Virgos lose their temper, although it's rare, it can be 10 times more personal, okay? So Mars will then enter Taurus, and this will be a lovely elevating energy. You're going to want to rise to new heights in your career, in life. You're going to want to see new perspectives. You're going to feel a lot more fresh. It's going to be like busting open a window in a really stuffy room for you. And this is because Mars again has been in that 8th house energy, so the intensity of your emotions may have been a bit unnerving for you, let alone anybody else. And when it goes into fellow Earth sign, it's going to make you have a lot more faith in the unknown, which is something Virgos tend to struggle with. Now, you will be able to take risks with this transit. It's going to last until the 31st of March. So, if you want to be adventurous, do wait until about the 15th of February to do so. Chiron's going to enter Aries, that 8th house energy again. I know. On the 18th of the month. But this is going to offer you healing in that area. So you don't have to react under the Mars conjunct Uranus transit. In fact, you would be better waiting until the 18th to sort of assess what those feelings were. Maybe write down on the 13th what those feelings are that's bubbling to the surface. And then look back on it on the 18th and decide where you want to gain some perspective, gain some healing in that area. For you could have a lot of trust issues and wounds surrounding sex, money, vulnerability, trusting others, and you're probably going to become a bit more spiritual or find new ways of healing these issues. And this is why it's important that whenever Mars conjuncts Uranus on the 13th, you don't react too strongly, because you will start to find solutions And it would be better to let the energies subside and reveal themselves, because leading up to your supermoon on the 19th, which is all about self-care, you need to learn how to like who you are more, Virgo. You need to be more self-aware of the good qualities that you have. You get overlooked a lot in terms of, and I mean by yourself, okay? And people don't like to bring awareness to it because you guys don't take compliments very well. But Virgos have this beautiful twinkly eye thing that gets overlooked by, say, the large, compelling liquid eyes of a Pisces or the intensity of a Scorpio. You know, Virgo have probably some of the most beautiful eyes in the zodiac. It's just that it gets overlooked because people don't like to compliment Virgos, because you guys don't take it that well. Now, in terms of taking it well, Sun enters Pisces on the 18th, where reciprocal energy, anyway, let's put it that way, is going to be more important. Partnership's going to be more important, and there's going to be a lot more opportunities for stable partnerships, romance, and all things lovely. You know, for you guys, Valentine's Day is more of a March thing if we're doing it by energy rather than traditional holidays. I don't know many Virgos that are into the idea of Valentine's. Astrology usually has different perspectives, which is why that T-square is so important. But I nonetheless feel as though the Ace of Wands here, there's going to be some kind of spark, change for growth. There is healing needed to be undertaken from the past. Six of Cups, Page of Pentacles, Three of Swords. An issue relating to your childhood or your first love that's caused you significant pain and has prevented, you know, when you shut the door on something, when you keep a skeleton in the closet, it doesn't go away. The energy around it will just become more and more dead. In order to heal this, you need to bring it out into the open. And I think in February it might do. And I know that sounds kind of uncomfortable, but it can be something like a session of really talking about how you're feeling and realizing that there is a little bit of pain there, that you would like to move forward, and you sort of have a realization that you didn't really deserve that. You know, rather than blaming yourself and not being perfect, you might realize, you know, I could be free from this. I'll live a lot healthier if I let this go. Ace of Pentacles, prosperity. A new opportunity for something that's very long lasting. As you can see, the turtle, the tortoise, I think it's a tortoise. I'm not very good at this. Turtle, tortoise, anyway. They live for a very long time, so this is where we're going with that. Five of Cups, sadness in your hopes and fears. There is something that you're still sad about, or, you know, it could be recent. It doesn't have to be old. I just sense that this is something, possibly a pattern leading back to childhood. And Chiron in your intimacy sector is going to bring a lot of this to light. It might be good to get a head start. Now, the Lovers is in the positive position. Lovers representing choices. Four of Cups, boredom in the challenge, or rejection of some kind. Outcome, the Hanged Man, limbo. Okay, so what are you waiting on? Judgment, self-reflection, a decision. Facing something that you didn't want to face, possibly delaying it a little bit more, because there's work to be done, there's an opportunity to be undertaken. So, Four of Cups in the challenge, rejecting something offered to you. Rejecting a suggestion, possibly. A suggestion that possibly came within this reading, but it can also be rejecting a new love interest. With the Lovers there, I feel like you possibly have more than one choice of person or more than one person interested in you, Virgo. But you're thinking about how to go about this differently, which is positive. You're realizing that there's something that needs to change within you. You're realizing that doing something a certain way hasn't worked. And Judgment, that full moon in your sign, is going to illuminate an energy within you that either you've not tapped into before, that you've possibly ignored, or an energy that you finally feel ready to channel. It's a supermoon. That means you have a superpower and you get to use it. With the Hanged Man, it doesn't necessarily suggest to me you're going to be delaying action completely, it may simply mean that you see things from a more spiritual or different perspective. So where can we go from the Hanged Man in Judgment? A reflection of who you truly are, what you truly want, and what you truly have to offer. So, Ace of Pentacles. Some of you may be getting a job offer, beginning a new job, and you are presented with this clean slate. The full moon in your sign, particularly when it's a supermoon, offers you a new start in your personal life and your relationship with yourself. It's kind of like a reset button. But in order to do that, you must evaluate what was there first. And this doesn't mean going inward and being unproductive in your day-to-day life. Rather, it means that you're going to be seeking a new level of consciousness. It means you're going to be more spiritually aware of what it is that you can do and can achieve. This is going to wake you up to something new. It's going to be something different in that analytical Mercury brain of yours that likes to use facts and logic and be practical. And not a lot of Virgos take the time to dream, unless the moon's in a water sign. But even the Virgo that achieves the highest position in their career will doubt where it came from. But you're being offered a chance to change that. Judgment, although I think as a Virgo you may fear this card because you worry that other people are judging you, there's very few people judge a Virgo as harshly as a Virgo judges themselves. You know, there's that perfectionist streak. And oftentimes people more than not, if you hear, you know, at least in my experience, when I hear people talking about Virgos, they're usually saying, can you believe how amazing they are at this? Or can you believe they work so hard? How do they do that? They're like superhuman. They're rarely saying that Virgo is so rude, that Virgo is so lazy. I just never hear that. I've never heard that. I've always heard people, I actually really don't think I've ever heard somebody say something negative about a Virgo that I know. In television and media, it's very different, obviously. But in terms of the Virgo perspective, they feel like they're constantly being held up to scrutiny and they have this distorted perception of what they do offer the world and the way the world views them. What's interesting though, with the Lovers and the positive, it means that you have a lot of support and a lot of admiration, and it means you have a lot of options of what to do with this energy when it presents itself to you. Imagination, Page of Cups. You have a very vivid imagination. There is an offer, a very distinctive offer coming through. And I do think it is either, for the Ace of Pentacles, it seems like an offer of a new job for some people. For the Page of Cups, it can be a romantic crush coming into the picture if you're single. If you're in a settled job and a settled relationship, this looks to me like an idea of how to turn a passion into additional income. Okay, so it can go different ways. It's a very good combination, Page of Cups. There's the emotion and the creativity, and then there's the beginning of something with monetary value and long-standing worth and value. So I'm seeing this as a combination of the two. It will be different for each person, but with the 8th house, there is sort of a suggestion of other people's money being involved, you know, financial backing from somebody else, investments. Uranus is going to leave Aries. Chiron's moving in there. So healing will come from this, which means for some of you it may be a spiritual practice. The Tower. In your fear. 5 of Cups in the Tower. You fear your sadness is being destructive. You don't want to let your emotions run away with you. But they will become stronger and stronger if ignored. That's where the expression nipping it in the bud comes from. Get it while it's fresh. If it's long-term pain, as I think for a lot of you it is not one big day of diving deep. You can do something that brings it out gradually over time and just makes you feel lighter and lighter and lighter gradually. I think you guys fear going into the deep, deep stuff. And the 8th house is asking that of you, which is why I think Virgos are finding their moods so hard to control at this point. Oh, the world is in your positive position though, regeneration. For some of you, you've met somebody who is reinvigorating your feeling of life. And you fear the dependency. I can get that much. A romance where you fear there's a dependency, or you fear you're not coming up trumps. But with the world in your positive position, basically means, Virgo, the world is your oyster. Ace of Cups, love and the challenge. Your fear of rejection is holding you back. But with 2 majors in your positive position, I don't think you have to worry. And here we have Temperance, healing in the outcome. Delayed healing finally arrives. A delayed relationship with the spiritual. This is very invigorating. You're really beginning a new cycle, Virgo. A new change. Big changes. The Fool. New beginning. So where do you want to heal? What is it? What area is it you want to heal? Some of you, very specifically, it's romance. Some of you, it's business. But I think a lot of you have a rejection lingering within your heart. Or it's the fear of rejection which is stopping you putting yourself forward. Maybe being single is making you unhappy. And if that is the case, you are ending some kind of romantic cycle. So you could be ending a cycle of being single with the world here. With Temperance and the Hangman, it's important to realize that your spiritual perspective on life will change the way you interact with others, the way you interact with the world. Your lack of faith will generate more feelings of inadequacy, fear, anxiety. Having faith in something, whether it's communication with angels, a divine being, having some sort of belief in the afterlife, your healing, your perspective is what's going to make you feel more alive, and it's what's going to generate success for you. It's feeling as though there is something bigger to life than what we see, which is one thing that an earth sign person will oftentimes struggle with. Because being Mercury ruled as well, you kind of like to rationalize things. And you like to put, an analytical and logical spin on everything. You'll say, oh, I definitely believe in an afterlife. And then you'll say, but I suppose, it's maybe not like this. It's maybe more to do with just scientific energy. You can change your mind a lot. You can sort of you can put your toe in and then you yank it out again. You're not doing that anymore. You're having a moment. You're having a very important moment. If you have me on Instagram, do look up the distorted masculine and feminine post, because I think that might apply to a lot of you. You're seeing your situation, Virgo, in a very different light, and you're realizing that maybe you are falling victim to the distorted masculine or the distorted feminine. Either being hypersensitive or over-rational in your approach. There's a need for balance. With Temperance and the outcome, healing your distorted masculine or feminine energies is important. I think for a lot of Virgos, it's oftentimes the distorted masculine which comes into play, where you feel like your worth comes from work. And you feel as though your money is an indicator of your success. And then in some cases, it's the distorted feminine, where you feel like praise is essential to know that you have a purpose. Now, you'll need to work a little bit of magic with this. Because if you want to reconcile your distorted feminine, distorted masculine, you need to be very patient with yourself and try a different perspective. Try something new. With the World card in your positive position, I feel as though you're going to be very excited by what you achieve and complete. So, with the Fool underneath and the World there, the beginning of the majors, the end of the majors, a new beginning is really coming out with this full moon. Yes, it's giving you clarity. Yes, it's giving you closure, but it's also giving you a bit of a boost to feel more in tune with what you want. Okay? 8 of Pentacles, achievement. 9 of Swords, anxieties and your hopes and fears. Makes sense. 2 of Swords, crossroads. In your positive, challenge. 4 of Pentacles. You feel insecure about something. As we start the 10 of Pentacles, luck. Wow. Gorgeous. Luck. The angels are on your side, and gratitude. Being grateful for the gifts you've been given, being grateful for the person you are, being grateful that you have a 100% success rate of making it through this world. There's no need to feel insecure. There's no need to fear rejection. You guys are so hard on yourself sometimes. And I can see why. Because you fear the depth, yet you feel the depth and you feel it alone. Because you don't want to bring anybody else into it when you're having this moment. But you have a lot of support. You've actually a lot of people that wants to be there. The lovers in the world, a lot of people in your corner, particularly the fixed signs, the Taurus, the Scorpio, the Leo, the Aquarius people in your life, and the Geminis, the Mercury people. If you want to talk about something this month, talk to a Gemini. They have good advice. They're not quite as indecisive as you might feel in the beginning, you know? With the anxiety card, I sort of sense that maybe your anxiety is coming from fear of change and fear of transformation in case you are presented as egotistical, because you like to be successful. You get a lot of value from that. But at the same time, you don't want people to think that it's all ego-based. And for some Virgos as well, you kind of believe that if you're not suffering, you're not working hard enough. And that deducts from the energy of flow, you know, letting money flow to you. The Ten of Pentacles and Temperance, I feel as though luck will be on your side financially. But I also feel like there's something with a much more valuable currency here. And that is a process of healing from the fear of rejection, from the fear of acceptance. Because the only person that needs to accept you is yourself. Practice gratitude. Whenever you're feeling down on yourself, think about what you're grateful for. And include what it is that you have to offer. So let's do a love card here for the little Virgos. If this is romantic, by the way, there is something healing that leads to something greater. So perhaps your perspective needed to change in order to attract a partner who was long-term potential, someone who valued you, someone who acted with integrity. Perhaps that is on the other side of changing your distorted energy into something more self-assured. The key to working through distortion is going by what standards you think society wants from you. So if you feel as though society wants you to work really, really, really hard to the point you're exhausted and generate a traditional income, consider why that might not be the case for you. Consider why you deserve a bit more of a break. Sexuality. 8th house energy makes a lot of sense. So, I just noticed underneath we have luminosity. Remember what I was saying about your full moon? Okay. Now, Virgo, you are the sign of the Virgin. That does not mean you are negated sexuality. What it actually means with sexuality is considering what you have to offer. It's not about, as I said, Mars and Uranus, don't jump into anything you might regret with this 8th house energy. This is more to do with trust and intimacy, I think, with this 8th house energy. Healing, trust, and intimacy with other people. And the key to doing that is to be illuminated from within. Find that feeling within yourself first. Do you trust yourself? Do you respect yourself? Let that shine from within, and that's how you find that person. That's how you find that experience. You're more than your external shell. And in terms of fulfilling compatible relationships, it's not the outside that creates that. It's the conversation, it's the spark, it's the ideals, the wants. Some people under this 8th house transits, Mars being there, for example, it has made people look more appealing just on their outer shell, but they might not be long term. You deserve something deeper. True intimacy comes from being authentic with oneself and authentic with the others. It's not trying to please people. Be true to yourself. Okay, I'm going to go from here because I think that jumped for a reason. Fertility. Well, there we go. It is a perfect time for you to start new projects, access new ideas, and give birth to new conditions. It's springtime in Virgo land. What you want is coming in the spring. And also Virgo, couldn't help but notice underneath, true love. The lovers, true love. Some of you are finding very, very healing relationships after this Virgo full moon, or your relationships are taking a shift for the better. I know Neptune's in Pisces. It can be very hard to trust people, but when the sun moves into Pisces and there's this compatibility in these partnerships, it's really pretty. It's really pretty, the people you're going to find, more compatible people. Possibly Sagittarius for some of you. Just an FYI. Let your light shine from within. You're more attractive than you know. Enjoy it. So, I'll see you next time, Virgo. Bye.